4 years ago, a very excited 21-year-old Jay LaRosa opened up this same laptop to create an Amazon FBA business that would soon fund his travels around the world. After selling $2 million in the marketplace while traveling to hundreds of cities in 15 countries, I've seen every high and low in this business with thousands of sellers coming and going, many of whom were friends of mine personally. So let me start by saying this. Amazon is more than what you think it is. A lot of people who know Amazon FBA think it's either a saturated business that's a get-rich-quick scheme or not a real business model to make a living with. But it's not. In the middle of all of that is thousands of entrepreneurs who are building careers off the back of the most dominant e-commerce marketplace in human history. And I'm one of those entrepreneurs, so I'm here to document what it's actually like behind the curtain. These experiences that I've had are going to be on every side of the spectrum, because I literally started with $250 to my name to now generating $2 million in sales working with 7-figure brands. I'm going to keep this as pure and authentic that you'll probably ever see in 2025 and beyond. My journey is my journey. There are many battle scars along the way, but that's why I'm here to share them with you. So let's talk about it. Here we go. So before we actually kick things off, I want you guys to read this sentence out loud because it's very important to clear these limiting beliefs. All right. 65,000 people generated over $1 million in sales last year on Amazon. Individual sellers. And to show you that I'm not making this up, right here on Google, over 65,000 individual sellers achieved more than $1 million in annual sales. That's up from 60,000 sellers in 2023. Okay. Now, even better, to take it up a notch, 350,000 people generated over $100,000 in sales last year. That's a 6-figure business. 350,000 you and I's, individuals, regular people, have generated 6-figure businesses on Amazon without ever owning a product, okay, or doing marketing or anything like that. And to show you I'm not making that up as well, right here on Google, okay, approximately 350,000 Amazon sellers exceeded 100,000. And this was in 2021. I can't imagine here in 2025, it's only grown more and more. And that's really important to clear those limiting beliefs when thinking about Amazon or thinking about what Amazon's selling is, because I've been doing this for 4 years now, and I've seen so many different appearances and recommendations or experiences from people that's important to understand before we dive all into the nitty gritty. And what we're going to be doing here is I'm going to be giving you guys live examples, experiences, what I've been facing. I'm not going to tell you what the definition of Amazon is or why it works or why it's so good. I'm going to talk about real life examples where if you started on Amazon today or yesterday, you would feel prepared to not make these mistakes and understand from my experience that I went headfirst into. Okay. So let's dive into it. Let's talk about it because I'm very passionate about a ton of this stuff. So first, we're going to look at this product listing, okay? And what I'm going to talk about in these product listings are these two softwares. They're both necessary for Amazon. They cost $20 a month each, right? Very cheap, but very necessary. One is right here on the right. It's going to show me the profit and other sellers. And here in the bottom is going to show me all the data for the Amazon listing, okay? And with these Amazon listings, if this is your first time seeing this data right here, this software tells me everything I would ever need to know when it comes to buying a product on Amazon, okay? It tells me what's happening in the past year, the past 3 years, the past 5 years, you name it, it's all right here on Amazon, okay? And here's the first big example that I want to talk about because a lot of new sellers get this completely wrong, and I learned it the hard way, and this is one of my biggest experiences that I want to pass on to you guys if you ever start selling on Amazon or know anyone that's selling on Amazon, okay? So watch what happens here when I look at the first bar, okay? Look at this graph into 3 charts. 3 charts or 3 bars if you want to call it. The top one is price, the middle one is sales volume, right? How many sales per month? And the last one is sellers, right? They call offers, right? But it's sellers. So when it goes up, new sellers come in stock, and when it goes down, new sellers go out of stock, okay? But watch what I do when I run my cursor from right to left on the first bar. I'm going to zoom in here a bit. So I'm going to run my cursor from right to left just to see what happens. And what's going to happen is it's going to be an instant switch on this pink box right here that shows a new seller popping up every time I go from right to left, okay? So watch what happens. As I go from right to left, you're seeing new names pop up almost instantly, right? But that's not the key factor. It's good. That's what we want to see. We want to see this buy box rotation, but a very, very hard lesson that you need to learn. It's absolutely essential to find success. To be one of these 350,000 or to be one of these 65,000, you need to learn this from an early days. Look at the names that are popping up here. Okay, I can zoom in here even a little bit more. Look at the names that are popping up. Simply Medical, okay, CPIGIO, right? Look to the right of their names, not the 90%, not the rating. Look the amount of reviews these sellers have. This seller here, CPGIO, has 100,000 reviews on the Amazon Marketplace. Okay. This seller here, Simply Medical, has 47,000 reviews on the Marketplace. These sellers are multi 8-figure sellers on Amazon. They have warehouses all across the United States, maybe even around the world. They have hundreds of millions of dollars in their business with an entire company of 50 plus people. Okay. They're massive businesses. Even look at this seller, Health and Prime, 25,000 reviews. Okay. And why am I mentioning this? Why am I pointing this out? If you're a new seller on Amazon and you try to compete with these listings, with these sellers, you will crumble to the bottom because you'll get zero sales. And I can promise you on that from firsthand experience. It's literally happened to me time over time again. And you can't sell any inventory, which makes the business useless. Okay. That's the first big pro tip that we have to focus on. The next one I want to talk about, we're on a new listing here, right? We have our two softwares here again. Here's almost just as important as the first one. Look what's happening here on this bottom chart, okay? This seller count chart, the offer count chart. Do you see this rapid rise in this graph, okay? If I run my cursor here on the left, remember I'm going to zoom in here again, and it says new offer count is 3. You can see here at the bottom left. Now, as I run my cursor to the right, watch it gradually increase and then skyrocket just within a few months, right? Because this chart is based off of a few months. We have October 16th all the way back here to August 1st, okay, just a few months. It goes from 3 sellers all the way up to 55 sellers in 2.5 months. Your competition goes from 3 individuals to 55, at times 56 individual sellers, okay? Could you imagine what happens to the price? Watch what happens with the price here. At 33.50, it goes down to 15 bucks. Over 60% of a discount for an Amazon customer where your entire profit is vanished in the business. And I see so many beginner sellers think it's a good time to buy when the listing is going like this because they think, well, it's easy to find this product. I found a supplier. I'm going to buy it. But what they don't realize, it takes 2 to 3 weeks for their inventory to get purchased, shipped to Amazon, be ready to be bought by the customer, and they fail. And when they get here, they're selling at a negative loss of the business. And that's how you don't become, like I said, one of these sellers who are selling 6 figures a year or making a lot of profit, okay? Because these are two of the detrimental points where new sellers just don't understand. So those are, first of all, 2 of my big tips that I want to get this kicked off with. Now, third, moving on along. What website am I on right here? Walmart.com. If you've ever heard about Amazon FBA, you're going to see a lot of gurus or people out there who are going to present, yeah, just buy from Target or Walmart or Kohl's and resell the product for a higher price. Seems great in theory. And does it work? Surely, right? Of course it works at times. People make a little bit of money. But what does this do? By buying from a retailer like Walmart and selling on Amazon, you're creating not a real business, okay? You're just a reseller making a project out of this, okay? The way to create a real business of this is targeting these smaller retailers, okay? And I'll write it out for you right here. Smaller retailers. And don't get me wrong, it's totally fine to buy from the PetSmarts, the Zoros, the Walgreens of the world. But if you're targeting the massive retailers like Walmart, could you imagine there's 4 million Amazon sellers on the marketplace, millions of them who have success every single year. Could you imagine how many eyeballs are on these websites compared to websites like Zorro.com that maybe you've never heard about? These smaller websites that want you to buy in bulk, want you to buy their inventory. They don't want you, they don't know that you're going to sell it on Amazon. Maybe some of them do, maybe some of them don't. But these retailers are almost impossible to grow an efficient business with. Okay? Because think about this. Like I said, who's focusing on the smaller retailers? Maybe 1, maybe 2 Amazon seller. Who's focusing on the bigger retailers? Maybe 4 million Amazon sellers, okay? Maybe a little less, but everybody is moving this way. And this is the one of the most important things to focus on when becoming a new Amazon seller, right? So again, like I talked about, 3 very, very important things. Focusing on competing with smaller sellers, people who are in your size range, because Amazon, literally, Amazon, not by law, but by integrity, has to favor these bigger sellers. Why would they give a completely new seller who has no reviews, no status, no integrity in the marketplace sales over someone who has an 8-figure business who will for sure give good customer satisfaction, good delivery time, good product quality, everything like that. Okay. Now, to tie this in, almost even one of the bigger tie-ins of all of these examples is look at the volume here in the middle chart, which we haven't talked about too much. You see here where it says the monthly sold, it says 100. And then frequently when I run my cursor to the left, it goes down here to 50. Then it goes back up to 100, back down to 50. The change of going from 50 to 100 is not the problem. The real problem is the low volume, right? Number one, we're competing with bigger sellers. What are our chances of getting sales in this listing? Less than 10%. Now, when you tie that in with only 100 units a month being sold, we are set up for absolute failure by selling these products, okay? So new sellers who come onto Amazon, add 10 of these products to the catalog and invest $1,000, $10,000, whatever it may be, and try to sell their inventory and they get one or two sales every day or maybe 15 sales a month, they come back to the internet, to YouTube, whatever it may be, and say Amazon doesn't work. But these are three very hard earned lessons that I went through on going through, okay, how does this work? Don't compete with large sellers. Don't sell listings that are very, very small. And don't buy at the top. It's just like the stock market. If you buy at the top, you're buying a falling knife that's going to come down and look what happens to the price. And there's thousands of Amazon sellers who are beginners who still don't know their way around the business that are buying at these pain points and it's destroying businesses. Never mind buying from these retailers that also absolutely cripple your business, but all of these in tandem will take you to the bottom. So take it from me. That's four very, very crucial tips that will get you a lot farther than you can imagine. Maybe even become one of these 65,000 seven-figure sellers. Maybe join the club of being a six-figure seller with 350,000 people by just avoiding some of these tips. And like I said, guys, I didn't want to come here and give you basic definitions of why Amazon FBA is so good. These are real situations, real problems that people are facing and people still don't understand to this day. And this is why Amazon can be regarded as that saturated market, because all of these sellers are competing in a different world than the sellers who are doing seven figures. Do you think these seven-figure sellers are buying these products right around this pain point? No, right? So it's a completely different world of competition and the way to view it and the way to look at it. So there we go on some experience. I know that was very fast and very hardcore, but if you like this video, please like and subscribe. I want to continue to make these videos and continue to get you guys the real information that you need to find success with Amazon when you start your business. So there we go.